Good afternoon to all and welcome to the Python programming online session. In the next half an hour, we are going to discuss about the input-output functions, manipulations, and introduction to strings and numbers, string operations. So in today's session, our agenda is to discuss the chapter 6 and 7. So what is input function, output function, how it works, and the nature of these functions with the sample hands-on sessions. And later, I'll be also briefing about the string operations. Right? Right. Okay. So now I am going to introduce a completely new function, which seems to be a mirror reflection of the printf function. Okay, so we are aware that the print function sends the data to the console, right? And the input-output functions here are uh, used to read data entered by the user and to return the same to the running program, right? And this program can manipulate the data, making the code truly interactive, right? The two major functions, input-output functions, are print and input. Okay, so print is a keyword, and any keyword followed with a pair of parentheses is called a function. Okay, so initially the function is empty, and later it may contain arguments or parameters according to the function call, right? So basically, print function is used to send data to the console. Print is an output function. And input, as the name indicates, we are already familiar with this function, return a very useful result. So the input function returns a very usable result. It accepts the value. Tejaswini, can you please mute your audio, please? Tejaswini, can you please mute your audio? Fine. So the input-output functions read data entered by the user and to return the same data to the running program.
సిల్వర్ వేసుకుంటావా దానికి?
Right. So the input-output functions read data entered by the user and to return the same data to the running program. Okay. Right. So the meaning of the new functions is to return the very usable result. The function is able to read data entered by the user and to return the same data to the running program. So for that purpose, the print and input functions are used. In addition to that, the program can manipulate the data, making the code truly interactive. Right? Okay. Now, virtually all programs read and process data. Okay. If a program which does not get the user's input is simply called as a deaf program, which means the unused program. If your application has no use, then what is the point in developing, writing, and implementing it? So any application program statements is with the objective, even to find the greatest of two numbers or three numbers. We accept two variable and compare and find whichever is greater. Okay, so there is a purpose, there is an objective, there is a motive behind every program development application, right? If a program which does not get users input, then it cannot process anything. Without input, no processing, and without processing, again, no output. So output is the processed, manipulated input. Okay, so there must be a source. When nothing input is provided, then again, no point in processing it, manipulating it, executing it. So as a result, a blank screen will be displayed, which is of no use. So a program which does not get users input, okay, so it is simply waste, is termed as a deaf program. Fine. Let us discuss a small example, very fine example. Okay. Now look at the statements. Print, enter a text. X is equal to input. Okay. So a variable X is defined here, and the input entered will be assigned to the variable X. So in this case, X will be a string variable, right? And print, okay, as a print sends data to the console. It is an output function, and input is an input function as to describe, to accept the data and return the usable result. We are using the input function. Takes the input, okay, and return a variable, I mean a usable result, right? Let us switch to the PyCharm editor and checks the working function of the sample program. Fine. So, okay, I'll start print. The first statement is, hope my screen, the PyCharm editor is visible to you all. Print, enter a text. Okay. And we have used a variable to accept x is equal to input function, and another output function, print. This is x. Okay. Online session, right? So there are no mistakes, errors, because it is observed that there's no underline. In case if you make any mistakes, okay, by knowingly or unknowingly, so that will be reflected in the screen. Okay, so hope you have noticed an red underline in the specific statement where there are likely to be errors, as well as the name of the program, one.py, red underline. Okay, and not only that, the program and its associated folder examples. So all these programs are saved in the folder examples, and its parent directory is ex. Okay, so from the basic, the last level uh, identification to the root directory, the complete path will be highlighted with the red underlined. Okay. Fine. Correcting the error mistakes, which is again observed as the red underline has disappeared. Fine. Run the program, select the program, right click, and clicking the run, we get the output. As there are no errors, so we get successful execution. Now enter the text. Okay, Python programming, right? So the input which is entered has been taken, and it is displayed with the help of the output statement. So this is the string, this is followed by x, which has already taken the input string. Python programming online session. Okay. So the program, on execution, the program prompts the user. Okay, run it again. The program now prompts the user to input some data from the console, isn't it? So we have, it is open in the execution, it's open in the console, and the program prompts the user to input some data from the console. So we are inputting it. Okay. So the input function here is invoked without arguments because it's a blank. The input function is invoked here without arguments. So here, this is the simplest way of using the function. The function will switch the console to the input mode, and you will be checking the blinking cursor. After that, once it is finished, okay, we'll switch to the console to the input mode and accept the value assigned to the variable. The result is displayed in the screen. Okay, and at the end, you will see a blinking cursor. Okay, so all the inputted entered data are sent to the program through the function's result. The function here is input and output. Right? Is it clear? Okay. And another point to be noted here is it may be observed that the result of the input function is a string, because what we had typed is Python. So a string containing all the characters the user enters from the keyword. It is not an integer or a float. This means that we must not use it as an argument of any arithmetic operation. Is it clear? Now let us check with another sample program. Okay, another sample program, right? Let me start with the variable x is equal to input, enter here number. So input function accept it's a string. So hence it needs to be enclosed in between double quotation marks, right? Input a string, right? Okay, so x is equal to an input function. Now y is equal to x 2. So double asterisk represents exponentiation function, right? Now the last statement using print function. Okay. So which has x comma to the power of 2. Okay, it is x to the power of 2 comma is y, right? Now what will be the output? Can you guess? So a function input accepts a value assigned to a variable, and it is exponentiated. X double asterisk represents exponentiation power operator, and the print function output function results collects the processed data and displays the output. So x again x both variables x to the power of 2. So the expected output could be the input value to the power of the output value. So any guess what will be the value? Okay, let me run the program. Right, enter a number 10. It is executed. Fine. Now guess the output. Yes. So we are using the exponentiation operator. Double asterisk represents exponentiation. So input a number, we had entered 10, right? So logically speaking, 10 is assigned to x and it is exponentiated. Okay, so now any guess from your side, what will be the output? Okay, so there is a query from error. Can we exponentiate? Yes, we had applied the exponentiation operator, no? Double asterisk represents exponentiation, power operator. Any doubt in that? Double asterisk is an arithmetic operator, calculates the power term. Ah, correct. You have got the point. Yes, fine. So there is no issues in the statement. Okay, your function, enter a number is a string, so it is enclosed in between double quotes. Right? Either in the statement and the second statement or in the print function output statement, there are no syntax errors. Okay, now enter a number 10. So there are few responses from your side. Shubham, Ashish, okay, have responded. Okay, good, fine. Now the output, we are not getting the output as the expected 100. Instead, there is an error. So Python gives the output, trace back, most recent call, last. Okay, so what's the error? The name of the error is type error, unsupported operand type, one or more types for power function, string and int, unsupported operand, unsupported support, okay, for the value 10. Okay, so between string and int, it is a type error. What does it mean? So the last line of the statement, please note the last line of the sentence explains everything. We try to apply the exponentiation operation. Okay, so please note we try to apply the power operator to the string because x is equal to input enter a number. The input function has accepted a string. So x power 2, which means enter a number power 2. That is the meaning. Is it clear? So we try to apply the power operator to the string which is accompanied with the integer. 2 is an integer. This is prohibited, invalid. Okay, so the input supplied here is a string, but we try to give an integer value which is not legal. It is an illegal. So as a result, we have fallen into a deadlock, and that is why we have got error, type error. So the input is a string, but we try to have the exponentiation with the integer value. Due to that, there's a conflict between the power. String cannot be powered. Exponentiation of a string is not permitted. Exponentiation is basically an arithmetic operation. It works with either integer values or float values. It will not support string input. So that is the reason we have got an error, type error, unsupported types for power function between string and int. So this situation is said to be a deadlock. Okay, so logically we may think correct, but practically this is not allowed. It is invalid statement. Okay. Is there any solution to this issue? How to solve it? Is there any solution? So I want to go ahead with the same logic and I need to find the output. How can we make it? What solution we can have? Yes. Python offers two simple functions to solve this problem. That's called casting. So exponentiation, we know that this arithmetic operation, which could be applied only for integer or float values. In case if the input is of different type, then there are two solutions, two simple functions to solve this problem. Okay, one is by using int. Okay, introduce int. So irrespective of the input function, okay, it can be converted into integer. No matter what would be the input, what would be either string or int or float. So main application is if the input is of string type, that will be converted into integer casting. Okay. Now it will not be a problem because the input assigned to the variable x has been converted into integer type. So any integer value could support the arithmetic operations. Right? Now let us run the program and check. Enter a number 10. And we have got the output 10 to the power of 2 is 100. Is 100. Right? So we can also make it as a float. Right? So if it is float, then the output will be again the float. If any one of the input is float, the output results float. Okay. So one solution is use integer function. The next solution, instead of changing the operation values, we can declare as a float. Right? So no matter either the input or integer or float, we'll be getting the output as a default float 100.0. The result is a float because we have converted the string into floating point, floating data type. Hence, the output results in the form of float. Right? So Python offers two simple functions to solve the type error issues. One is by using integer of the string and float of the string. So with the name itself, it is understood. So the int function takes one argument, that's a string, and converts it into an integer. Similarly, the float function also takes one argument and converts it to floating point data type. Right? So this is very simple and very effective. And moreover, we can invoke any of the functions by passing the input function results directly to them. Right? Is it clear? Any doubts? Okay. So that's about the input and output functions. So all it is commonly called as I/O functions. They read data entered by the user and return the same to the running program. So input return a very valuable usable result. Print and output function display the result, okay, which is collected from the console. Right? Fine. Moving on, the next chapter is the string operators. Now it is time to return to again two basic arithmetic operators, addition and subtraction in strings. Now let us understand that how to handle the strings. Okay, how to handle a string. So in here I am going to explain about the string literal. So what is string literal? The different types of string and the various string operations, concatenation, string repetition, indexing, slicing, string size and peculiarity. So we'll cover with the simple examples. List, tuples and dictionaries. We'll check it in the next session. Okay. Now what is a string literal? A string can be formed by enclosing a text in the quotes, either single or double quotes. So we can use both single as well as double quotes to represent a string. Okay, so both, okay, but it should be uniform. So one single and another double, its counterpart should not be different one. The pair of same thing, right? So both the double as well as single quotes are valid to represent a string. Okay, so any text, so the text means it need not to be alphabets, it could be also letters. Okay, that's enclosed in between a pair of single or double quotes is called as string, right? We have two types of strings supported in Python. The first one, single line string. Okay, So as the name indicates, single line, the string are terminated in single line, one line. Okay, they are called a single line string. This is an example. Text 1 is equal to a lengthy string which ends within the same location. So line 1, that's called single line string. So the text enclosed in between two double quotes or single quotes that terminates in the line itself are called single line strings. The next case is multiple line. So there could be some situations, cases we need to continue a big expression, a statement, or a text in the successive line, and they are handled with the help of multi-line string. So there are two ways to create a multi-line string. One is add a backslash at the end of each line. Add a backslash and continue in the next line. Okay. Since it is a string enclosed in between quotes. If we like to continue in the next line, line 2, line 3, line 4, all we need to add a backslash at the end of the line and continue. So this backslash will recognize the successive line and append with the previous line. So the text will be added, considered as a single string. Right? The second way is to use triple quotes, triple quotation marks. Okay, either by using double quotation or simple, triple quotation marks. So this is also a valid triple quotation. Okay, so here we don't not required to have a backslash. Backslash is, if you like to avoid backslash, then triple quotation marks could be used to have the statement or the string in multiple lines. Okay, so this is seldom used. Most programmers will not prefer to have triple quotes. Okay, so in general practice, the backslash is used to have a multi-line string. Okay, this is less used by the preferred by the programming community, and this is generally accepted method to have the continuation of the string in multi-line format. So a piece of text which is spread across multiple lines is known as multi-line string, and it can be created in two ways with the help of backslash or by using triple quotation marks. Okay. Next, the string operators. So we start with the first type, string concatenation. Concatenation is a process of adding, okay, joining two strings, and they can be concatenated with the help of an arithmetic plus operator. Right? Similarly, we have another operation called repetition. Repetition means copying, duplicating. A string can be duplicated or repeatedly concatenated. Please note the term. A string can be repeated or duplicated or repeatedly concatenated with the help of asterisk operator. So when the plus is used in integers, it adds a number and results a different value. But in string, it is used for concatenate, add. And the asterisk, okay, which is a conventional multiplication operator, in strings it is used to repeatedly concatenate with the given string. Okay, let us have a simple example to understand this. Okay, let's check another program. So we start with the string concatenation. Okay. So string concatenation requires at least two input, two strings, right? Okay, let's start with the first string, Kamala. String 2 is equal to Paris, right? So we had defined two strings. Now apply the concatenation operation. It's very simple. S1 plus S2. Right? S1 plus S2. Run the program. I get Kamala Harris. The two strings are concatenated. Please note, when we apply the concatenation, so it will be added in the next location itself. If you like to have a blank space, that could be done adjusted either in the manually after the first string. One way to add a blank space. So Kamala, a blank space, Harris. The other way is to have a blank space at the front of the second string. That will also work the same out. Right? As the next is as a string repetition. String can be repeated. A string can be repeated or repeatedly concatenated with the help of asterisk operator. Let us take another string. S3 is equal to define as trump for. Okay, so print S3 into 3. Right? So the string is concatenated, repeatedly concatenated. The number of times, the value represents the number of times. If I mention 1, it will be the once. If the integer value is 2, twice, repeatedly concatenated 2 times. So this function accepts the entire string and repeatedly concatenate the number of times. Okay, so run the program, I check. Have you noticed? Okay, so we have made S3 instead of S2, right? Okay, so the string is repeatedly concatenated as per the value presented inside the function. So this concatenation is possible either post string or prior to the string. Post to the string or prior to the string. So I'll check with another example. 3 into S3. Right? Run the program. Have you noticed both outputs are same? So did you remember what is the property? When the values remains the same with the kind of operation, which is the property said to be satisfied here? Any idea? So when we apply an operation, either prior to the value or later to the value, okay? Whereas S1 plus S2, S1 plus S2, if we exchange S2 plus S1, the output won't be the same, right? Is it or not? Did you get my point? S1 plus S2, Kamala Harris. S2 plus S1, Harris Kamala. But whereas S3 asterisk 3, 3 times Trump, repeatedly concatenated. 3 asterisk S3, again the same result. Okay. So if we get the same result, irrespective of that positions, which means what's the name of the property from the mathematical point of view? So the property does not changes, the value remains the same. Then it is called, the name of the property is called commutative. Okay, so it is a commutative property, fulfills the commutative property. irrespective of the presence of its operator and value, which will remains the same. Is it clear? So the asterisk multiplication operator supports commutative property, whereas the arithmetic addition will not support. It has a different result with different values. Irrespective of the value, the result will be the same for asterisk, which is said to be a commutative. So the commutative rule, okay, is fulfilled with the asterisk operator, right? So concatenation, two strings are added with the help of plus operator, arithmetic plus. And the asterisk, what does it do? Its strings can be repeated or repeatedly concatenated. And also this asterisk fulfills the commutative property, right? And what's the next operation? Is indexing. Okay, what do you mean by indexing? Any idea? Any idea on indexing? So indexing represents the location, points the location in the memory. For example, let us take a string. S1 is equal to hello world, right? Print S1 of 0. Print S1 of 0. Any guess what will be the output? S1 of 0. H, yes. So S1 of 0 is H. Assume the next string of Python. Now print S1 of 1 and plus S2. Concatenate two strings, S1 of 1 and S2 of 2. What will be the output? Any guess? I have received a few responses. E of Python, yeah, correct. And S1 of minus 1. S1 of minus 1. What is minus 1? We can understand 0 because the location is accessed with the indexing, mean S1 of 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. Okay. Now we have another value minus 1. What does it represent? So to know that, we need to understand again the indexing part. So this is the location, how the memory is managed. So 0 occupies the very first memory location, followed by the other characters. It will be incremented in a positive manner, right? So S1 of 0 is nothing but the H value. So S1 of 1 is nothing but the E plus S2. S2 is of Python. So E OF, okay, of Python. Now minus 1, which means the memory can be accessed, okay, memory can be accessed, traversed, left to right, and also right to left, okay. Practically, we won't prefer the access of, because our learning methods and models all done from left to right. But we can also apply the operations indexing part from right to left. So from the right to left, how could we access it? Okay, so the accessing starts from okay, the minus 1 occupying the rightmost location, and it will be decremented in the order -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and so on till the leftmost positions are represented. So S1 of -1 represents D. Okay, so indexing is nothing but accessing a specific element data in the memory, which by default starts from 0 and incremented from left to right. It is also possible to index a value data from right to left, whereas the values are represented from -1, -2 and decremented, okay, till the last, the first character, right? So indexing in positive side, incremental way, and decremental way, both ways it is permitted, right? Okay, next we have slicing. Slicing means making into pieces. Okay, so by applying the slicing, we can create a substrings. A string can be made into several partitions, substrings, subset, okay, with the help of a slicing or slicing notation. Okay. And this notation is represented by colon. Colon is the slicing notation. So two indices in square brackets separated by a colon. Colon symbol is used to represent the slicing operation. For example, S1, take a string S2. The slicing operator, okay, the slicing operator requires the two indices, number 1 and number 2. Both indices are enclosed in between square brackets. Okay, so S1 starting from 0, the first index represents the beginning, the initial location. Okay, so the value to the left of the colon represents the initial value. At the right, the data to the right of the slicing operator represents the destination value, which means 0 to n minus 1. 0 to n minus 1. So writing from the first character till the n minus 1, 7 minus 1, 6, HELLO, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a blank space will be the output. So substrings or a complete string can be partitioned with the help of slicing notation. Okay, and this is represented by a colon with representing the beginning position to the left and the end position at the right. Right? So the two values, two indices are enclosed in between a pair of square brackets. Fine. So let us check with an example. Right. Okay. Let us continue with another example. Okay. Remove it. So S1 is equal to hello world. S2 is equal to of Python, right? Apply the slice operator. Print S1, okay? It's opening square bracket, right? The initial value data colon, which represents the slicing operation, and the final last value, end value, right? So 0 to n minus 1, or in the program 0 to n minus 1. So, okay. So 0 represents H, 1 E, the second location, Second location represents L, the third location another L, the fourth location O, the fifth location a blank space, and the sixth location is W. 0 to n minus 1. Okay, which means starting from 0, S1 of 0 to S1 of 6. So all the characters falling in the range of 0 to n minus 1 are fetched, collected, and displayed as an output. Right? So this slicing can also have added with we can add the slicing operation with another basic concatenation. So what we have taken is S1, now it is S2. So the first 6 characters H2 W plus the S2, we should get the output. Right? So HELLO blank space W and S2. S2 is nothing but of Python is concatenated. The string is concatenated after the first string. Okay. So slicing is used to have it, to make the partitions or substrings. Right? Okay. So slicing begins with the start value which appears at the left and terminates at the n minus 1 value. Kindly note n minus 1 value. So which will have 0 to n minus 1, the case 0 to 6. Right? Moving on, the next operator, string operator is length. Length is used to find the count, right? The count of characters in the string, right? For example, hello world, let us take the same and print of length of S1 comma S2. So two or more strings can be combined with the help of the function. So this length function returns the count of characters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including black space. Okay, black space is a special characters. So all the characters enclosed between a pair of double quotes are counted. Fine. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So print of L1, the length of S1 will be 11. Right? Let us check with the same examples. Right? Let us continue. Print of length of S1. Right? Run the program. Okay, so 11. We can have more. So length of S2. Right? So we can add any number of operations inside the print function. So the length of S2 will be 9. OF blank space PYTHON. So 2, the third is a blank space and 6 characters. Okay, which gives a total of 9. So, okay. So since it's a print, it's a single function, we have got the output in one statement. If we have 2 print functions, then obviously the output will be displayed in 2 lines. Okay, so for example, the same, let us modify a little bit, right? We remove the second function. Right. Run the program. Now we have got the output in 2 separate statements. Okay, so length is used to count the number of characters and display it. Another special function of the string is called peculiarity. Peculiarity is nothing but the keyword is. Right? A simple example, A is a string Linux and another string B is Linux. Both the strings can be compared and its peculiarity, similarity could be checked with the help of is operator. If A is B, so the result of this statement could be a Boolean type, either true or false. The same function is similar to the equal operator. We had seen the logical operator. A is equal to B. The result of the logical operator will be either true or false. So that is also having the same function of yes. So the operator yes is believed to be a peculiar. Right? Let us check print. Next statement print S1 is S2. Okay, we know that S1 hello world and S2 is Python of Python. Of course, both are different and the result expected is false. Okay. If we have change in the thing, that is right. Now, yes. So we have got the correct output true. Right. So the operator is in string is used to check the similarity. Right. Any doubts? Okay. So let us stop here in this session.